Yeah, we'll start with a brief guided meditation, and then I'll talk for a few minutes about the topic, determination, and then we'll do our first breakout room just to check in with each other what the week has been like, your first few days in the 100 days. So for sitting, you're welcome to turn your camera off. I know some people prefer to do that, to have a little privacy. You're welcome to sit back if you're in bed or in a comfortable chair. Laying back is totally fine. Our uprightness establishes an alertness in the mind. So if you can sit upright without supporting the back, that establishes, you see the Buddha sit that way, cross-legged and upright. So the spine being upright is supportive of the awakeness that we're cultivating. But we don't want to be in a position when we're meditating that we're so physically uncomfortable that we can't relax. So we want this balance between effort and ease, uprightness and deep relaxation. And you could close the eyes to keep a visual distraction, or just take your gaze down the length of the nose and unfocus the eyes. And turning inward to the physical sensations of the body, just noticing what it's like, noticing how your body's feeling, becoming aware of the simple presence of the body. Let the shoulders relax, let the face soften. You could turn up the corners of the mouth to a small smile. Thich Nhat Hanh called this inner smile practice. And you can feel even if you fake a smile, even if you force the smile, you feel that physiological response in the body, the invitation to soften. And you might take a few deep breaths, extending the exhalations. And feel yourself arriving in the present moment. And after 2 or 3 full breaths, just settling into a natural breath. Let the body breathe as it likes, as it needs. And we're simply noticing whatever there is to be noticed. So maybe you've been going all day long and you come to sit like this and you realize there's tiredness in the body. You can notice if thoughts are coming quickly or slowly. And we can use awareness of the breath to settle ourselves. Breathing in, feel the body breathing in. And breathing out, feel the body breathing out. So we notice the energy and urgency of thinking. Thinking is something that starts happening, the moment we open our eyes in the morning. Thoughts are coming and going. And ordinarily we drop into the content of thought, believing our thoughts, often without question. And the process of thinking pulls and pushes us through the day. So we come to sit. You can think of it as unhooking from thought. Not that thought will stop, but we begin to investigate its nature. Perhaps most importantly, we become aware that there's a distinction between awareness and thought. So we know thinking. And when we make this distinction, we see we are not our thoughts. Thoughts are appearing and disappearing. But the knowing of thinking is continuous. And in addition to thinking, there's a whole world of experience that is non-verbal and non-conceptual. Yeah? A direct experience of your legs tingling, the sound in the room. And finally, having settled in and observed for a few minutes here, let's, for the last couple of minutes, reciting your loving kindness mantra. So it could be what you wrote this morning in your journal. It could be something that just comes to you in this moment. And I'll use the same one we used last week. All is well. I am safe. I am loving awareness. So as you recite the words and interpret their meaning, feeling into the space of the heart for any resonance. So the weight of our words and thoughts can be felt. If we are thinking, I am foolish, or some critical thought about ourselves, there's a constriction. So the mantra has a different tone. It has an openness. We want to feel in our heart, I am safe. I am loving awareness. And then shifting. I'll talk a little bit now about determination, and then we can break out into groups and chat with each other. So I led the meditation in the way that I did, rather than just dropping into loving kindness practice. Give you a sense of what the determination is about. So determination, this first quality, I guess what I'll say, and you can see it in the book if you have the book, that this is a presentation. Putting determination in the first position is a presentation by a monk, Thanissaro Bhikkhu, and I love the order he puts them in, and I find it rolls one to the next of these far-reaching attitudes. But traditionally, it's the 8th quality of the 10 qualities we're going to look at. And I think, not I think, but it is, so these are, whether we present them the way they're done in 100 Days of Care or in that traditional presentation where it's in the 8th position, they're not progressive. They're not truly progressive, as in you accomplish one and then the next and then the next. It just like the 8 limbs of yoga or the Eightfold Path, they are more like spokes on a wheel, where they all function together to make the wheel turn. And determination is underpinning every other quality that we're going to look at. So in order to be patient, in order to practice generosity, in order to practice loving kindness, in order to do the 100 days of care, we need to have the resolve to do it. Like I spoke about last week, our actions come, from thought. Thought happens, and then speech. Thought happens, then speech, then action. So we take action on the basis of thought and on the basis of what we're determined to do. So the synonyms for determination: decision, resolution, self-determination, will. Its characteristic is steadfastness. So it has this quality of like, we establish it, and then we have to reestablish it again and again and again. And so this could be, you could think of it as daily. I'm going to do the 100 Days of Care, and each day I'm going to involve myself in the practices. Or you could think it, we have to resolve many times a day to get through the day. You can look at determination as what drives everything, accompanies every action. And then in reference to the meditation we just did, the principal thing that we're doing is stopping. So it's the determination to put a stop to the kind of endless cycle that we're in of what? Of having a thought and believing it and acting on it and reacting. So there's, a stimulus and we react. Somebody says something critical, our feelings are hurt, and we criticize back, or we take some other internal or external action. And actually Harper, so my daughter, Mike's on the call too, our daughter Harper's in senior kindergarten. She told me today that she had a good day and a bad day. And she didn't want to talk about the bad day, the bad part. But then later in the car, we went downtown and she told me that the bad part was that her little friend in school was acting silly. And when he acts silly, she acts silly. So she was getting into a little bit of trouble because she was fidgeting and silly. And she said the teacher told her that being silly is like a germ. It's contagious, you know? So, uh, yeah, that's, and, and I mean, it comes to mind because it speaks to that, we show up in our own experience and in each other's experience. This is why community is so important. And so when something starts to happen, then we have a reaction and we tend to follow the same impulses we've always followed. Yeah, does it make sense? The determination comes into play when we've had enough of our own reactivity. We've had enough of uh, following what leads to struggle, following what leads to despair, anxiety, worry. And so we get some glimpse either on our own or in a setting like this where someone's talking about it. We get a look at how the mind operates, and that when we do something different, we get a different result. And then we become determined. You know what? I do want to feel better. So I am going to do the things in this moment that are going to lead me on to peace in the next moment. So determination runs the whole show from that point of view of I'm sick and tired of the suffering. I'm sick and tired of the struggle. We resolve to wake up, and the path is to see our own reactivity and to see how we are captivated by thoughts, most of which are unreliable. A lot of our thinking, if you start to look at what you're thinking about all day long, we have a tendency to obsess and a tendency to exaggerate, and our mind is not that trustworthy. Yeah, but we're working on it. So that's what these qualities, these far-reaching attitudes that we're going to cultivate start to create the conditions in the mind for us to liberate ourselves. So determination, and if you've looked ahead, loving kindness, truthfulness, ethical self-discipline, generosity, letting go, letting be. Yeah. So I want to stop myself there, and what we'll do is I'll have Paula, I think we don't need to be as careful. We could just do random breakout groups of 2 or 3. And what I'd like in this first opportunity that you have to talk with each other is for you to talk about what it's been like since day one, or anything about your actual experience of the practice. Have you meditated? Have you settled on a mantra? Has it? I don't even have to suggest. You just what relates to the 100 Days of Care for you, and just share with each other what it's been like so far. Yeah, beautiful. In the book, you'll see at the beginning of each section that there's a little chart, and with the synonyms, characteristic, functions, develops into, and then it has the direct cause or proximate cause listed. And I found today when I was doing a little studying for tonight's session, I found elsewhere, so here it says that the direct cause of determination is a sense of urgency, and the 7 factors of awakening, which are mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, calm, concentration, and equanimity. But I found reference today to truth, as in the truthfulness that's the other far-reaching attitude. We do that, let me just see where it is in order. We do that after loving kindness, which loving kindness is next after determination, and then truthfulness. And truthfulness is interesting as a cause of determination. And part of it comes in with the self-trust and saying it out loud or writing it down, is that as we align ourselves more deeply with the truth, as we experience it or as it's experienced, or, then determination comes from that. Because the one thing that I find very powerful for determination is a truth, which is the truth of our impermanence, the truth of death. And this is something done on training in the Buddhist path, is to contemplate that our life will come to an end and we don't know when. And it's a huge motivator, to knock us out of complacency, is that this is the idea we have that this is just going to go on endlessly, the conditions we're experiencing, it's a confusion that we have. And so like a great leveling is to think, actually, the conditions I'm experiencing right now are precarious and temporary. Yeah, it feeds back to Michael and Tara's first check-in about gratitude, to recognize the good conditions we're experiencing in this moment, and the truth that they won't always be. And then on the flip side, the truth being, like, as we get honest, and like Amber said, and I deal with perfectionism for sure too, is the truth that it's messy and that we're not perfect. Like these sorts of truths. And when we align ourselves in truth, then we can trust ourselves. So going back to self-trust, self-love, it's something that builds up over time. Like, actually, I've been lying to myself that I have to be perfect, or I've been lying to myself that I have, whatever the ways that we kind of have ourselves brainwashed, So thank you, everyone. Let's take a moment, if you will, to just close as we did last week. This is part of, where was that, routine. So each time we do a session, we do an opening and a closing. And in the closing, we can just pause for a moment. You could close your eyes. Let yourself feel into the body, come back to the body breathing, and you might turn the corners of the mouth into a small smile, relaxing the face, relaxing the belly. You can do this practice multiple times a day. I think somebody, again, from our list, setting an alarm to go off throughout the day, random or timed. And you could pause as we are in this moment and just feel the sense of presence, the basic fact of your awakeness, your aliveness. If you're inclined to, you could bring your hands together over the heart or in front of the heart. And we send out the practice of generosity. We give away all of our good fortune, all of our wisdom, all of the energy that's coming from our practice. May it be of service. May it be of benefit to others. May there be an end to greed, an end to hatred, an end to confusion. May there be peace.